do you like better, Shaw Brothers or Golden Harvest? Because this is the eternal debate. Let's settle it right now once and for all.
Now, in terms of kung fu, I would probably go with.
Every day I practice martial arts.
Well, Frank, how you doing, man?
Konnichiwa, motherfucker. That was for my friend, actually. Okay.
He wanted you to say that.
He wanted me
right?
to say that. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
How are you, Alex? Sifu Alex.
Doing very good. Doing very good. I think the audience is eagerly awaiting our karaoke duet of. Siu Lam Kung Fu Ho Ye Jan Ho Ye. All right, we will recreate the scene from Shaolin Soccer together.
I don't want to shave my head though.
We'll just do that for our Patreon supporters and torture them.
There you go.
So anyway, this is a new segment. It's called 10 Questions, and you are the first one on this new segment. So congratulations. Before we get started, just real quick, tell the audience a little bit about who you are. So we actually had kind of an interaction without knowing it years ago, back in the 90s.
Yes.
If you were a Hong Kong movie fan and you lived in the States, you had to get a catalog from Tai Sing in San Francisco. You had to wait for this thing to come in the mail and then look, and if there was a VHS of a Jackie Chan movie or a Jet Li movie, you ordered it from Tai Sing. So when I was a teenager, I ordered my catalog from Tai Sing, which I found a few months ago, and I showed you, and you told me that you were most likely the one who mailed it to me back in 96, 95, something like that.
I probably licked that envelope too,
I could sell that now a lot,
there
just because we know that you licked it.
Yes.
So Tai Sing was essentially the main distributor for Hong Kong films, especially during that time in the 90s. So how did you get involved with Tai Sing back then?
Actually, at that time, I was actually working full-time as a library assistant in the library, and so a friend of mine, her friend works at Tai Sing HR department, and one time we were hanging out together, and she was saying, we're trying to hire someone, and we're having a hard time finding somebody that's right. They've been looking for someone for months, and then they mentioned it to me because they knew that I like movies. I like Hong Kong movies. They knew that I would be going, I would go to Chinatown and watch movies almost every weekend.
Right.
And so she said, we've been trying to find someone for this new English department that they're setting up to promote, to sell Hong Kong movies basically to the English-speaking audiences. And so she asked, would we be interested in applying? I said, well, sure. I'll try. So I sent in the resume. They called me up for interview. I went for the interview. I actually got into a kind of an argument with the marketing manager who was interviewing me because I didn't like her attitude. She was kind of cocky, and I said, are you kidding me? So there was actually a little bit of argument. But then I guess she knew that I kind of know my shit.
Right.
So then she forwarded me to the general manager, Helen Su, for some of the, for those of you who are familiar with Tai Sing, Helen Su. So then she talked to me, and then I left, and then I didn't hear from them for 2 months. And so, what the hell,
Right.
So I kind of got fed up because I'm the kind of guy who didn't like not to hear anything.
Sure,
if you don't hire me, fine, at least let me know.
Tell you, right, yeah.
So I called them up and I said, I've been waiting for you guys for 2 months. What's going on? And then the marketing manager who interviewed me said, we're still making a decision, but we'll let you know soon. But I can tell you that you're one of the top, candidates for this job.
Right.
Then about a week after I called, they offered me the job. So,
got it. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I figured when you said you got into an argument with someone there, I figured it was over who's better, Yun Bu or Yun Hua. I figured at Tai Sing, those are the kind of arguments people would have, right?
Right.
So, wow, that's interesting. So let's get into it. So my first question, so what was the first Hong Kong action movie or martial arts movie that you had ever seen?
I would have to say probably Jackie Chan's Spiritual Kung Fu. I think. That was actually the one I saw in theaters because, at that time, let's backtrack a little bit because originally I want to go see Cripple Avengers because, on TV, I was a kid, right? We're talking about 5, 6 years old. They would show all these commercial advertisement for upcoming Shaw Brothers movie. Every week, Shaw Brothers shit. Every week they have a new movie.
Sure.
So I saw the commercial for Cripple Avengers.
Right. Now, by the way, is this here in the States or
no,
is this
Hong Kong.
This is in Hong Kong. Yes.
So, Cripple Avengers, Chan Kut, right? So, wow, that looks good because, I've never seen someone with a clutch that can actually fight somebody. So I thought, maybe I should go see it, Because at that time, I was already going to, I would go to the movie theater by myself to see Hollywood films.
Right.
Any movies that allow kids to go in,
right.
I would go see it. But then almost every single Shaw Brothers movie would be saying, 兒童不宜, not suitable for children.
Right.
So I was like, I'll try my luck and try to see what I can go see. So I went to in one of those Shaw Brothers theaters in Man Wai Yun on Portland Street in Mong Kok. So I went there. I said, I want to buy a ticket to see Chan Ku, Cripple Avengers. And the guy said, oh, I'm sorry, kid. You're too young. You couldn't get, I can't let you in. So I didn't end up seeing it, which I kind of, was kind of pissed. But then later on, I think like maybe 1 year, or around the same time, I think Jackie Chan's Chun Spiritual Kung Fu came out. And I wanted to see that. So, I asked my dad to take me to see it. So we went to see it. And so that was my first Kung Fu film that I saw in theaters. As far as like on TV, I really can't remember because I don't think, contrary to what you believe, like in Hong Kong, they actually don't show a lot of martial arts film on TV at that time. Mm-hmm. So, but Spiritual Kung Fu definitely I remember was the first one that I saw in theaters, and then I think Fist of Fury was actually the next one because they have a re-release around that time.
Oh, okay.
With that scene restored, there's a scene where he kicked that sign. It says, no, Chinese and dogs not allowed, right? Because when apparently when they originally released it, that scene was cut out because they didn't want to stir some kind of people's emotion.
Sure.
So they actually cut that scene out when the film first came out. So then they would re-release it and say, now with this scene restored, and I said, oh wow, I got to go see it. And somehow I was able to get in to see it. So
right.
Yeah.
So, but essentially at that time, if you couldn't see it in the movie theater, there was no other avenue to see those films.
No,
at that time,
no other avenue, and I was it really upset me because, like I mentioned on some of my commentaries, like I can go in and see King Kong with Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange,
right?
But I can't go see Mighty Peking Man.
Right.
Yeah. Because Mighty Peking Man has nudity. But then King Kong also has nudity.
Sure.
I was able to get in. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. So the only movie that I was able to go see, the only Shaw Brothers movie I was able to go see was Infrared Man with Danny Lee. Yeah, because that was kind of like an Ultraman, an imitation Ultraman thing, right?
So what rating did were those Shaw Brothers, were those category 3 or category 2?
No. There was no rating back then.
It
was either suitable for children
or not.
No, they'll say 老有涵義, which is for all general audiences, right? Or 兒童不宜, which is not suitable for children.
Right.
So you only have those two ratings. It's only until like the mid 80s. Then they started having the rating, but then by 1988 with the category rating, they started having like 1, 2, and 3, and then later on 2A and 2B. So
Got it. So do you remember the first Shaw Brothers film then you had finally seen? What was your first Shaw?
Well,
film?
it was Infrared Man.
It was Infrared Man.
Yeah, but that's Shaw Brothers.
But what about your first action, like Kung Fu movie, like the ones that you weren't allowed to see when you were young? Do you remember which one that was?
Well, for Golden Harvest, definitely Young Master. I remember seeing Young Master in the theaters. Shaw Brothers, it might be one of those Cho Yun ones. Cho Yun did all those Gulong novel adaptations. So I probably went to see one of those first.
Got it.
I missed all those Venoms. Everything, I missed because those were back in the days when I couldn't get in.
Sure.
And so, but the Cho Yun one, I remember seeing one of the Cho Yun the Gulong adaptation movie in the theater.
Right.
But all the Lao Gao Lang, all the Golden, everything, I actually didn't see them in the theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not until later.
So
that brings me to my next question.
Okay.
Would you like better, Shaw Brothers or Golden Harvest? Because this is the eternal debate. Let's settle it right now once and for all.
Now, in terms of Kung Fu, I would probably go with Shaw Brothers because, like Lao Gao Lang. Like, look, to me, Lao Gao Lang is the best.
Yes.
Really, no question. In terms of Kung Fu action, choreography, Lao Gao Lang is the best. So, and of course, Lao Gao Lang came from the Shaw camp. So, definitely, when it comes to Kung Fu, Shaw Brothers. But I do have to say, Golden Harvest kind of branch out. Golden Harvest was the one who kind of paved this way for other genres too. Like modern action, sci-fi, horror. Not horror because Shaw Brothers are horror, but they kind of they were willing to try new stuff. Golden Harvest they're willing to try new stuff where Shaw Brothers still has this assembly line feel.
Yes,
because everything is mostly studio bound. All the exteriors was just done in outside of Golden Harvest, and then there's only a few movies like a Chinese Boxer where they went to Korea. But look at all these films that Golden Harvest did outside. Like all those Angela Mao movies in Korea, and then you have
even Warriors 2 was in Korea.
Warriors 2 in Korea, and then of course Eastern Condor in the Vietnam setting. So they were able to kind of I felt like Golden Harvest was able to try to mirror more of what Hollywood was trying to do at that time. They were to me their view, the scope is a bit wider than the Shaw.
Right.
Yeah. So but again, if we only talk about Kung Fu, it has to be Shaw.
Got it. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. So, what is your favorite Bruce Lee film and why? It's Game of Death, isn't it?
No, it's not Game of Death. I would say it's Fist of Fury. Fist of Fury. It's just that was my first Bruce Lee film.
Sure.
It's still the most memorable, and that was the one that I saw in theaters.
Yeah.
So it really gave me it had this very memorable impression in my mind.
Yeah.
So to me, definitely that one. I mean, the story, the emotion, the beautiful Nora Mel. So,
Right. Yeah.
So for sure, Fist of Fury. I mean, the other one, like Enter the Dragon, I like Enter the Dragon. I like the setting because it's more almost like they're trying to do a James Bond movie, so to speak.
Sure.
But
it's basically a Dr. No ripoff.
Yeah, like a Dr. No ripoff,
yeah.
exactly. And I love Dr. No.
Yeah.
The fantastic Bond film. But it wasn't very accurate in terms of the portrayal. I mean, it's almost like is made for a Western audience.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You have, I mean, like you have. The film didn't do too well in Hong Kong at that time, precisely because of that. People were upset by seeing, people like karate students. I mean, you have people in karate, judo.
Yeah. Well, why would Han, who's an ex-Shaolin monk, have all of his students wearing karate boots?
Exactly. That's it. It's almost like, well, this is like sweet and sour pork. This is not for us.
Chop suey.
Yeah, chop suey. It's sweet and sour pork. This is not for us. It's for Westerners.
Right.
So that to me always kind of, it kind of just didn't sit well with me.
Sure.
No, I mean the fight, everything's brilliant. I mean,
Right.
I mean the setting, the storyline is great. Yeah.
Got it. But do you think Fist of Fury is better than Way of the Dragon?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. I
right.
think so.
Okay.
Way of the Dragon. I just felt that the Fist of Fury's fights are more narrow. I mean, it ties in with the storyline more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they all derive from this Japanese, the invasion, patriotism, nationalism.
Right.
Way of the Dragon. I mean, it's great. It's a great film. But again, it's like because I saw Fist of Fury first. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so same question, but now, what's your favorite Sammo movie? But a movie that Sammo's in, not just one that he directs.
Oh, definitely Eastern Condors.
Eastern Condors?
No doubt, without a doubt, Eastern Condors.
You like the slimmed down version of Sammo?
I like the fact that he really went out of his usual way to make that film.
Yeah.
It is his Apocalypse Now, right? I mean, that's his Apocalypse Now. I like how different it is compared to other films. I mean, obviously, all these great works, Odd Couple, Prodigal Son, all these great, fantastic, Magnificent Butcher,
Yeah.
But to me, Eastern Condor just stood out for me because of how different it is, the war setting. I mean, it's very rare to have a war movie. Hong Kong rarely does war movies.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So that's another reason, and also just the whole setting. Again, the fight came out from the narrative, right? It's not just set pieces; these are all derived organically from what the story is.
Right.
And then it all comes to this again James Bond-like setting, and they have this missile, arsenal plays like a Ken Adams set. I mean, it's just great. For someone like me who's a huge Bond fan, this is like wow. This is like he's really, you can tell all this inspiration and influence he has from Bond films, from war films, and he just put everything together so nicely. Even like Alien, because you're getting them killed off one by one. So, but yeah, to me, Eastern Condors is really his masterpiece.
Yeah, and also that fight with Yuen Wah at the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
Like, Yuen Wah just looks so great in that movie. And, And Sammo's wife also, like,
George Kennedy
with the knife in the butt and all that kind of
I mean,
great
he goes
stuff
all
in it.
out, it's gory, and there's almost zero comedy, too,
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people, like in my interaction with fans, they always say, how come they have so many comedy in, like, Sammo? Like, how come Sammo has so much comedy in his film? I said, this juxtaposition between comedy and serious stuff and violence. That's a major theme of his films. But like Eastern Condor is like totally serious. Or of course you have little bits and pieces of humor here and there with like Lau Lang Guang, Billy Lau making all these jokes and stuff, right? But still, overall that's like tonally, the tone wise is very serious. And the fact that he has Hang X Nor in it, from the Killing Field.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he's trying to put a lot of weight in his film. Like, I'm serious about this, right?
Right.
I'm hiring this Oscar nominated. He won, right? I mean, he won the. I'm hiring this Academy Award winning actor in my film.
Right.
That tells me how serious he is about the sport.
Yeah.
So definitely Eastern Condors, without a doubt.
Got it. So now back to Shaw Brothers.
Okay.
Which one's better, 36 chambers or 8-diagram pole fighter?
Oh, 8-diagram.
8-diagram?
Yeah. 8-diagram. I mean, I think the death of Fu Sheng really make that film so much more effective. I mean, obviously the tone, the darker tone, the tragic tone, I mean, I think had Fu Sheng lived, I don't think you will have all those coffins in that final climax. I mean, all, the setting of the coffins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is you just feel there's this sense of tragedy in that film.
Yes.
Very prevalent.
Right.
But the fights, man, that final fight, this
breaking the teeth. That's
breaking
so
the teeth,
brutal.
It's just so brutal. The editing,
uncharacteristic.
Uncharacteristic. The editing, the rhythm. I
Right.
mean, it's just fantastic. And also the opening too. With the Yang. I mean, because again, most Lao Ga films were set in the Qing Dynasty because
Right.
of his Hong Ga heritage. Wang Fei Hong heritage, but this is set in the Yang Dynasty thing. So,
Right.
I mean, the earlier period. So,
Yeah.
it's pretty rare, and to have this opening right off the bat with this tragic, this whole opening sequence, which is kind of it's really like a homage to this like a Peking opera theatrical piece. It's very stagey, right? That whole opening sequence, but then it just start leading to all this. I mean, and then you have Gordon Liu taking kind of precedent once Fu Sheng is out of the picture, tragically, of course. And I mean, it doesn't let up, like the
Right.
final, the 15, 20 minutes just doesn't let up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And definitely a diagram bullfighter.
So who's your favorite action star that you feel never really quite made it big? Is it Conan Lee?
Conan Lee definitely one of them. I feel Tony Jaa should have been bigger, though. Tony Jaa, I mean, he was so great in Ong Bak 2. I mean, Ong Bak 2 is my favorite Tony Jaa film.
Right. Is that the one where they started you doing the traditional martial arts, or was that the third one?
I think that's
Yeah, and he was doing Hong Kong, all the different styles, and it was really amazing.
And that the whole last third of that film where he fights all these different fighters and with that mysterious guy, that is brilliant stuff.
Right.
And of course there's a cliffhanger too, but then it didn't kind of pan out in
Right.
Ong Bak 3, but Ong Bak 2 is such a wonderful film from Tony
Yeah.
Jaa, and I feel of course people knows him, he's not famous,
Right.
but I just felt that he should have been better known, and his talent should have been better utilized, especially in like Fast and Furious. I mean, he was in Fast and Furious for crying out, right?
Right.
He was in the 7, I think, Fast and Furious 7, but I felt he was underused. Like, every time you see him in a Hollywood film, I felt he was underused.
Sure.
It's kind of blink and you miss it every time, and I'm like, oh, there's Tony Jaa. And
I
then
know.
That's it.
That's it.
Right.
Exactly.
He's amazing, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's amazing.
Yes. I feel he was like put on the shelf for a while. Like he
Right.
was like so hot in Ong Bak, and then they kind of like held him a little bit before
Yeah,
he really had
he
a
was
chance
good
to do
in
anything else.
Tong Yam Gong, The Protector.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great film, too. That whole
Yes.
long, one take fight up the stairs.
Yes.
Brilliant
Really
stuff.
good fight with Maurice Crump in, I think,
In the second one,
two.
which was the best thing about that. movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just feel every time you have someone good like that, and then the Hollywood try to put them in their films, they
Right.
always get underused. Like Donnie Yen is another example. I feel.
Yeah.
Look, you have him in Star Wars.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like he was totally underused in Star Wars.
You know
Yeah.
what film he was underused in? Blade 2.
Blade 2 also, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Killed him off.
yeah. I mean, he's already pretty good in Blade 2, but he could have been so much better. But especially in Star Wars, you think, wow, you have him in Star Wars, but then you have him as this blind Satuichi
Right.
character. Yeah, that you don't have one fight scene.
Yeah.
He should have been part of the rebellion, the whole team going into to
At the end,
At
yeah.
the end, exactly.
Yeah,
He should have
yeah.
been part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He should have faced off with Vader.
Exactly. Exactly.
At least get killed by Vader.
Right. Exactly. He should have been part of that. Yes.
Besides, obviously, we just talked about 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, so we'll leave that one out for a moment. Of all the classic kung fu movies, like the kind that are on your shirt today, all right, that's from 36 Styles, right?
No, this is actually from Portland. There's a Hollywood theater in Portland that they have a kung fu theater series where they will show classic kung fu film on 35mm print from time to time.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
The guy, Dan Halstad, who runs the Hollywood theater, was kind enough to send me this. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, what is, in your opinion, the best classic kung fu movie, let's say, from that older period, like early 80s and older?
Okay, early 80s and older. So we're talking about really the 70s and maybe like
Yes.
1980. I think definitely Angela Mao movies. Yeah, we should, sure. King Hu, of course. I think Touch of Sand. I love Touch of Sand.
Mm-hmm.
Although, so to some people that might be a little bit too artsy for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for anyone who's new to this genre, I still think they need to watch A Touch of Zen.
Okay.
Because to let them know that, look, this is not just about action. It's not just about kung fu. It's really about the whole package.
Sure.
Cinematography, story, the atmosphere, bringing you back to that period. Because Touch of Sand, set in Ming Dynasty, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would definitely Touch of Sand. Any Lao Gala movie, Martial Club, Dirty Hole,
Right.
Mad Monkey Kung Fu.
But I just wanted one.
Oh,
I wanted
I'm
the
sorry.
best. I wanted the best. We'll get to your recommended.
Okay,
that's
okay.
another question comes later.
All right.
And I know. Actually, I hate these questions because
Right.
because if you're a movie geek, you have categories and categories, right? But if someone held a gun to your head and say, "Hey, Best classic kung fu movie. 1.
Oh God.
I know. I hate when people ask me this question, so I figured if I have to answer it, I can make other people answer it.
Oh boy. Best classic kung fu.
And you know, no matter what you say, people are going to get upset.
I know.
They're going to be like, how can you pick that over this? Right?
Oh my goodness. And it has to be what, like you said.
Just one, like older from the earliest 80s, older.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I'm really nailing you down on this one.
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah,
bro?
I know.
Seafood.
All right.
I have to. It has to be a Shaw movie, I think, because Shaw really, envisioned. I mean, Shaw really symbolized that whole area of classic kung fu, and to me, it has to be Lao Galang. So, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
That's a tough one. Gosh, I might still go with Mad Monkey Kung Fu for now. So I mean, like maybe you ask me 5 years later, it might be different.
Sure.
Because Mad Monkey Kung Fu has everything, training, the drama, characterization. It has great characterization. One thing I like about Lao Galang movie is he's willing to let it go long sometimes, right?
Yes.
Yes. Like Mad Monkey is almost 2 hours. Like Martial Club is almost 2 hours.
Right.
Because he's willing to spend time on his characters.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like this is just like, oh, we're trying to get to the action, so let's hurry up. No, not in his film. So not in his film. And so to me, it's a tough call between Mad Monkey Kung Fu and Martial Club, but I would have to go with Mad Monkey Kung Fu.
Right.
For now, okay?
For now. For now.
Right? For now.
Well, those are great picks. I love Martial Club, just like the fight scene going into the narrower corridors. There's also, obviously, it's a Hong Kong film, but there were a lot of Wing Chun shapes in there.
Oh, yeah. It's really exhibition of different styles, too, Northern and Southern style, and how, well, I mean, of course, the idea and the main theme of that film is about Mo Tak, martial arts ethics, so it's like, it's not, who we want to fight, who we want to beat is really like, like honor, respect, for tradition and stuff. That's what makes you a great master.
And no one dies in that movie, too.
No one dies. There's no really technically. Well, there's kind of like a villain, but no one dies in Wong Long Wai. They're really kind of like a good guy.
Yeah.
But that Martial Club is a great film, obviously. But
Mad Monkey Kung Fu is great. I had the chance to have dim sum with Chiu Hao about 4 years ago, and I remember just pouring him tea and just going like, it's Chiu Hao from Mad Monkey Kung Fu. I just remember just being so, because I also feel like he was so amazing, and that was his movie to shine, but for the most part, he was kind of like second fiddles or background player or whatever, and he's so good. And still, you see him today, he's still fit, and he still knows all these great stories.
And I love, the one thing I also want to point out about why I like Mad Monkey Kung Fu is, remember, there's 2 training sequences. And the reason why is because, remember, he first trained with Lao Galang in Chiu Hao, in film. He started learning stuff with Lao Galang, but then he got defeated, right? He got defeated, and so that is a great lesson too. It's like, if you're not good enough yet, you got to train more.
Right.
It's about discipline. It's about dedication, determination, and that's why I really like about our film, that he was able to go back and say, Sifu, he went back to see Lao Galang and say, Sifu, I need to learn more. I need to be better.
Right.
So it's this idea of self-improvement. I mean, I really like that theme. And then also how in the second training sequence, you see how he gradually became more and more in sync with his master.
Yeah.
So in the end, they were fighting really in sync. And then at the end, in the final fight with Lo Lei, it's almost like, wow, it's not really just a master and student fight. It's really like they're like together now. They're together. Of course, there's that symbol of the master's blood dripping on his hand. So like they're now blood brothers, so to speak.
Right.
So you're not looking at a master helping a student now and defeating the villain.
Right.
They're really a team. They're really they're equal.
Right.
Master and student become equal in fighting the common villain.
Right.
That is just great.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
To get back to what you started talking about a little bit, the next question is, if someone is brand new to Hong Kong cinema, they haven't seen anything, you have to give them 5 movie recommendations, and it can be from all the different subgenres, to give someone a good idea of like, this is what Hong Kong cinema is about.
Sure.
What would those 5 movies be?
All right, definitely one from Lao Galang. So any movie from Lao Galang, I would say 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, to show them how great choreography, everything. And then definitely one from Sammo. Doesn't have to be Ethan Condo this time, though. It can be Odd Couple. I think Odd Couple is a wonderful film. Yeah. Because Odd Couple just show you how, and also how ingenious it is in having 2, Lao Gao Wing and Sam Hong playing 2 characters each. young and old and stuff. So I think Odd Couple would be a great introduction.
Which means they both have to be badass with spear and
Exactly.
sword, which just shows you how
Exactly.
awesome they were.
Awesome, and also after they defeated Liang Gayan, they still have to fight themselves in honor of the deceased masters. So it's just great. I mean, I love films where you think it's ended here, but oh no, there's more.
Right,
I love
right.
it. So I would choose Odd Couple because
Okay.
it's just like and I mean because that film deserves to be better known. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, it's super underrated.
Right. So we have Lao Ga Liang, of course Jackie Chan. To me, Jackie Chan, maybe. I think we should choose. I mean, I know this is an interesting choice, but I think with Jackie Chan, we would have to be Police Story.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah.
because you have to show not just of action, but also like this film revolutionized modern action, so to speak, because this is really the first, the really good Hong Kong film that kind of bring modern action into the mainstream, so to speak. It's like, people always think of kung fu, but no, look at this. This is action. When this is kung fu, it's action, but it's set in the modern times.
Right.
Anyway, so definitely Police Story. I think Police Story. Yeah. Let's see, 2 more, right?
Yeah, 2 more.
2 more. Definitely one have to be a Wong Kar-wai film because I don't want people to know that Hong Kong film is more than just action. Mm-hmm. So definitely a Wong Kar-wai film. I would say it can be anything. And Ashes of Time would be a great choice.
Yes.
Ashes of Time would be a great choice. But even In the Mood for Love, Still Go By. And so any Wong Kar-wai film. But if I have to choose one, maybe Chongqing Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Chongqing Express.
Got it.
And then one more, right?
What about maybe a comedy?
Oh, there you go. Stephen Chow, definitely.
Yes.
Stephen Chow comedy.
小林功夫
Yeah.
好嘢。
小林功夫好嘢。
Or what about Kung Fu Hustle? What do you think? I like Kung Fu Hustle a little bit better than Shaolin Soccer.
No, Kung Fu Hustle is good because Shaolin Soccer there's a lot of CGI in it and all that
Right.
stuff. And unfortunately, soccer for America. Let's say if someone I'm introducing these to is an American guy, he may not like soccer that much.
Right.
I hate the word soccer. Okay, it's football. God damn it.
Yes.
Right.
Thank
Football.
you. Yes.
Football. Okay.
100%.
BPL, Premier League. All right. Go Reds, right? Oh, whatever. Okay, Gunners, go Gunners. And
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Excellent.
All right.
Arsenal fan.
Thank you.
British humor.
Bloody hell.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Stephen Chow. Yeah, I think Kung Fu Hustle actually would be a good choice.
Right.
Because you can show I can show my friend who's new to this, like, look, this is like all these that came before now leads to this.
Yes.
The hybrid with humor,
Right.
with great choreography and some nice special effects. In other words, the special effects were used nicely to complement the action.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
so no, I think Kung Fu Hustle would be a great choice. So we're talking about what? So we've said 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, Odd Couple, Police Story, and Wong Kar-wai films like Chongqing Express. Actually, Fallen Angels would be a good choice. But I think Chongqing Express definitely. For a newcomer, I think Chongqing Express would be a great introduction to Wong Kar-wai. And then Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a great list.
Yeah.
Who is now the next question? What is your favorite action movie in the last 5 years? So we talked a lot about classical stuff. What about new stuff, which might be harder to figure?
Did we say movie or name? Oh, stars.
Let's go movie. Favorite action movie, martial arts action movie.
Is The Raid 2 last 5 years?
I think it's a little bit older.
A little bit older already,
Yeah.
right? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. I would say Sifu, right? I mean, the mainland film. The Master.
Oh, The Master.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. The
Yeah.
Final Master.
The
I
Final
think it's
Master,
the-
sorry. Yeah. The Final Master. I think the Chinese name is Sifu, I think.
Yeah.
That's a great, because that's totally authentic, that last scene, that
Right.
last fight. And those are real kung fu. There's no, nothing flashy about
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
real,
no wires or
no
anything.
wire, nothing, and you can just tell how he moved and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that is a great film.
Right,
That is a
right.
great recent film. I don't even know whether it is the past 5 years now, but
Yeah, it might even be getting beyond that. It's harder and harder to find.
it's
martial
harder and
arts
harder to
movies
find
now.
really good martial arts
Yeah.
film, particularly in the last 10 years, to be honest.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Yip Man 4.
Oh, no,
I'm kidding.
Okay. Ooh. Yip Man 2 is my favorite of the series.
How dare you? How dare you? Yip
what?
Man 2?
Yes. Why? Because it's Sammo Hung. Sammo Hung. Look, my 2 favorite action choreographer. Okay, well, tell me your... Well, what?
No. It's not about me. It's about you.
Okay.
I'm just letting steam off.
So is it Yip Man 4 your favorite among the series?
No.
Okay, all
Are
right,
you
all right.
kidding me?
Okay.
I had a hard time even look, and I have friends who are in that movie, and I feel that's why I don't talk too publicly about it. I know people are in it.
All right. Look, I mean, just talking about that series, all right?
Yeah.
To me, Yin-Man 2 is the best. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. Yin-Man
All
2.
right. I'll let you have your opinion. It's okay to be wrong from time to time.
Because, no, I think one reason was because, I met Samuel in 2010 at the New York Asian Film Festival. He
Right.
was there for the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
And, we showed Yin-Man 2.
Right.
And, I mean, it's just great to have him watching it. He was standing right next to me as we watched, like, the fish market fight, the table fight.
Right.
I mean, that was such an honor to be next to the greatness,
Right.
So to me, Yin-Man 2 always have a special place.
Got it.
That's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And last question.
Oh my God! Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
What projects are you working on now? What do you
Oh,
want to
God.
plug? This is all about you.
All right. So people probably know that I've been doing a lot of commentaries, right?
Yeah.
So
You are the master of remaster.
I'm the master remaster, and actually, somebody actually gave me a new nickname, which I
Oh.
really like: the Commentary Maestro.
Commentary maestro.
I
Very
like
cool.
that. I
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
But no, I've been like this year is crazy. I did 2022, so it's been crazy. I have like close to 30 audio commentaries this year.
Wow. Incredible.
It is incredible, but lots of projects coming up, for mostly UK, all these UK labels, right? Eureka. And by the way, I just want to say thank you to all the UK fans. I mean, you guys are just tremendous. Thanks to your support, like people like Eureka, 88 Film and Arrow were able to put out all these great films,
Right.
year after year. And it's because of people supporting these. So,
Sure.
So I'm tremendously grateful. And so, yeah, lots of projects coming up. Can I say anything? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm working. There'll be two kind of like a makeup box set coming up.
Okay.
All right. One involved Jackie Chan, and one involved Bruce Lee.
Uh-huh.
So that's all I can say.
They're kind of those two are kind of big deals.
Those
Yeah.
are big deals. Yeah.
Uh-huh,
And they might even be in UHD, 4K. So,
Wow. Cool.
yeah. And then there's also working on Angela Mao titles, and we have two Angela Mao titles coming. I can mention them because Eureka kind of spilled the beans. Hapkido, Lady Whirlwind coming up. And then I'm also starting to work with some Australia labels. They actually approached me to do
Wow.
commentary. So I'll be
Those are your people over there, right?
How dare you?
I always call him an Australian. Makes him really happy.
G'day, mate.
G'day, come on.
Hi. Down under. Yeah. Bruce. So anyway, some Australian label has approached me. So I'll be doing commentaries on like Johnny To titles and even a Zhang Yimou title.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But there's lots of things coming up, and I think the second year, the second half of 2022 will have some really great releases.
Awesome.
That people will be blown away.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, hey, Frank, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so
thank
much
you,
for
Sifu.
joining us.
Thank
This
you
was
for
really
inviting me.
great.
It was really an honor to be here. So,
Thank you for
so
being the
much.
first one on 10 Questions
Oh,
on the
yes.
Kung Fu Genius podcast.
I'm so honored, Sifu.
Awesome. And we'll talk next time.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, Kung Fu Genius fans, well, I hope you liked that episode. Again, comment below. Who else do you want me to talk to on 10 Questions? If you have any comments, any questions for a future episode of the Kung Fu Genius, go ahead and put them in there. Don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the Kung Fu Genius, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys next time.